Mega Man 4, the game smack in the middle of my two favorite NES Mega Man games. This is not to say that I dislike this game, as it adds the charge shot, a feature so fun that no game in the future would remove it, but you know how I said last time that Mega Man 3 had heaps of trivia? In comparison, Mega Man 4 has a mountain of trivia. With that being said, enjoy the show. Firstly, we are going to look at glitches and regional differences. Starting with the glitches, this game has some of the best in the series, the most infamous one being killing Wily. After you beat Wily Machine 4, Dr. Wily flies away in an escape pod. If you use Rain Flush, you can destroy Wily's capsule before he leaves. Doing so will softlock the game. Yeah, this isn't the only way to softlock in a boss fight. If you kill the Cockroach Twins with Time Stopper, the game just lets go and leaves you there. For some reason in this game, Pharaoh attack is pretty weird. If you charge a Pharaoh attack and then destroy the ball above your head, you can still shoot a fully charged fireball. The game also allows you to keep the charge of your head fireball even if you die, so you can do fun stuff like this. In the game, you can fly with Rush Jet, but that's not the only way to do it. If you use Rush Marine at the top of the Moving Water and Dive Man stage, you can fly through the air without having to put up with any of the obstacles in the stage. So it's basically a Kirby game. The last glitch I'll talk about is probably my favorite glitch in the game. On the auto-scrolling sections in the game, you can use Wire Adapter and stick to the bottom of a platform. The game will push you and launch you into orbit.
Moving on to regional differences, we have some box art, and two of them. I've noticed that the Japanese art always follows the trend of Mega Man in the center and the robot masters surrounding him in some form, and personally, I don't like this format that much. But hey, at least this time America's art isn't that bad. Why? Why does Europe always get the best box art? And this time it's just the American one, but better. Whatever, let's just look at the title screen. And the only real difference is the flavor text, which reads Arata naru Yabo, which means a new evil ambition. Speaking of new, this is the first Mega Man game to not only have pictures of the early build, but video. An early build of Mega Man 4 was seen at the 1991 Tokyo Toy Show alongside other big name items like the Sega CD. We'll be looking at all 4 stages shown in the prototype and see the differences from the final. The first stage we're going to look at is Ringmans, and it has one real difference, which is that a wall background is used in the second half of the stage instead of the space background in the final game. Rightman is up and does not contain many changes. The most notable one is that a different background is used, but besides that, this build uses different graphics for the spikes, is missing the totem poles, and the secret area hasn't been added yet. Next is Pharaoh Man Stage, which has the most changes of any stage. The first change is that the Scorpion from the final game shoots projectiles instead of charging at you, and then apparently there was a whole mini-boss that got scrapped in Pharaoh Man Stage, and from what I can tell it was almost completely finished. As you can see, it had a snake on its head that shoots at you, and it could spit boulders. My best guess on how to beat it is that you would jump onto the boulder and land in its mouth so you could shoot the eyes. It was most likely cut for being too difficult, as you can see this guy couldn't even beat it. Later in the stage, we see that a different background is used here, as well as green prong-like spikes other than the brown sea urchin-like spikes used in the final game. Even further in the stage, we see the sky. However, I believe this is a filler background, as the sky is darker earlier in the stage. We also see these footholds, which are in the final game, but they only appear on spikes in the final game, and they don't here. It is also very important to note that unlike the other stages, the level layout is completely different from the final. Lastly, we have Toadman Stage, who has no changes from the final release. The last thing to mention is that the boss select screen looks different, with signs that say construction underway on the stages you can enter. And that's it for the Tokyo Toy Show. Overall, this gives us a pretty good insight into what changed during development, but it's not the earliest build we've seen. In the third quarter of 1991, Mega Man 4 had a preview in a Japanese gaming magazine. Not many differences can be seen in these early photos, except that the coiling platforms in Ringman Stage have different graphics. In this article, we also see the drawings sent in from children across Japan that went on to become the game's robot masters. So let's take a look. Okay, so Drillman looks a bit interesting. And it's the only one that's like that, as Skullman here looks just fine and almost identical to his final design, and the same goes for Ringman and Pharaoh Man. It appears Diveman received a minor redesign and Toadman got fixed so it doesn't look like a demon. Dustman's art looks very nice, but we actually have a comic made by the creator talking about how he came up with it. He was introduced to Mega Man's design competition by a friend in 6th grade. This one was for Mega Man 3. He sent in an idea called Double Man, which obviously wasn't used in the game. So for Mega Man 4, he sent in around 10 Robot Master ideas, and the final one was Dustman, which he claims to have drawn while trying his hardest not to learn anything in school. And then comes this masterpiece of a line. I missed the deadline, drew upside down on the postcard, and sent it to the wrong address. I addressed it to the main company instead of the specific department. Capcom not only accepted my submission, but actually used my idea in the game. Absolute madman. He actually still does art to this day. Let me show you one of his more recent works. Yeah, Dustman's designer was Yusuke Murata, the artist behind One Punch Man. The final Robot Master is Brightman, who is actually known as Pearl Man as shown in this comic made by Brightman's designer, Yoshitaka Enomoto. He also talks about how he kept his Gold Rockman 4 cartridge as a family heirloom. Now, you may ask yourself what the Gold Cartridges are, and it's pretty simple. Everyone whose boss was used in Mega Man 4 got a free copy of the game with a Gold Cartridge. In recent years, they have become quite valuable, with one being sold at Super Potato, a retro game store in Osaka, for 628,000 yen, or roughly $6,000, making it one of the most expensive Famicom cartridges in history. Now, you would also get a book just for competing called the Rockman Character Collection, which went over various artwork in the series' history. Nowadays, these are also sought after, with these going for about 18,500 yen, or roughly $175. Also, apparently you could get a towel as well. Can't find any information on this one, so if you know anything, hit me up. Before leaving the subject of the boss design contest, we have 5 submissions that were sent in but weren't used in the game. First, we have Nantai Man, with Nantai meaning man's body? Moving on, we have Paste Man, who would probably be similar to Bond Man. Adhesive Robot Masters just can't catch a break. Next is Spring Man, an idea so dumb it will never be used in any future games. Then there's Mucho Man. I think I understand why most of these were not used. And we finish with Wallman, and he's pretty cool, I guess. Moving on from the boss design contest, we don't have much else to look at, just some unused sprites and this. This is a scrapped palette editor, and you can access it using this game Genie code. Unfortunately, its code has been removed and it's non-functional. Lastly, we have some unused sprites. These Dr. Wily and Dr. Cossack sprites were probably going to be used for a cutscene. These sprites were originally used for that Sphinx mini-boss as seen in the prototype. This canister was going to be used in Dive Man Stage. Most interesting thing in the video, if you ask me. This stilt gun looks kinda silly, so it makes sense that it was cut. I have no idea how this one would work, and it also looks kinda silly, but this last one actually looks nice. It's an auto robot that would drop orbs on Mega Man. It's a shame it wasn't used in the game. Before anything else, this ending is completely unscripted. And also the second time I'm recording it, because the first time was in April. Yeah, I've kind of been slacking off on working on this video for a while. Mostly because of 2 reasons, I'd say. A, I'm lazy, and B, I had to focus on schooling, both driving school and actual school, so that has been keeping me preoccupied. But in the meantime, I've been doing other things, like I started using Twitter, and by using Twitter, I mean I browse it occasionally. You can follow me there too. And, I don't know, I guess in this I should also mention that I'm thinking about making videos that aren't, like, secrets videos, like what I've been doing. So, maybe expect to see some of those, I'm not sure. But I should make another video before the end of summer, or God help me. Anyways, thanks for watching to the end, and if you liked it, leave a like and consider subscribing. If not, then our path ends here. Bye!